Hey guys, Blue Commander here and welcome back to another video. Today I have a very exciting project to share with you. My custom block generator for Minecraft 1.14 has finally come out. I've been working on this project for the past 4 weeks straight, so I'm really excited to show you what it can do. You can customize and make your new blocks in the game without having to do any command block coding. For this to work, you do need to install the data pack and the resource pack from my website, but once that is done, to add any block to the game you like, you can simply use the online block generator to give you a unique command, which when put into the game, will just add the block to the game. This block is fully customized through the generator, so it's really simple to use. And no, this isn't the old spawner technique used by Simply Sark back in the day. This is a brand new player head technique that I discovered, which allows you to resize the special model data of the player head to have the same dimensions as a normal block. So that way you don't have to do any texture pack designing yourself, and you can simply use custom player heads for your texture in the generator. This is also multiplayer compatible, survival friendly, and replaces absolutely no blocks or items in the game. Not to mention, it's really fun to play around with. The current options are the name, the texture, whether it's directional, what the block's like, by that I mean like the hardness, the tools that speed up mining it, etc. What the drop is, tools which are required for the drop, the XP dropped, and any normal trait blocks might have was also supported. For example, you could have containers like chests do, you can make it full like falling sands, etc. I'll go into more detail about all these later. This is only the first version, so I did spend most of the past 4 weeks developing the idea and bug fixing, so I will be adding more features in future updates such as crafting, world generation, etc. in the future if you will like it. So yeah, to keep this video as simple as possible, I'm just going to be going through the same layout as how the website does it, so let's begin. Okay, so I would normally do the installation at the end, but as it's really important for this creation and it's a bit more complicated than normal, I'll just do it now. So there's already in-depth instructions on the website with pictures as well, but to summarise, first of all you need to download the data pack and the resource pack from my website. Then you want to locate your world's data pack folder, like so, and also open your downloads folder. What you want to do is drag your More Blocks B1 download into the data packs folder. Once you've done that, you also want to open your resource packs folder and do the same thing with the second download, and then activate the resource pack. Back in game, type /reload, and when it has reloaded, you'll get a message telling you that it's been successfully installed. It will also tell you some important notes, such as remember to have the resource pack on, how to get the command block book back if it's lost. Also, you need to force load 00 using /force load add 0000, and finally a note to people with bad PCs. Hold me closer. So, I know you're all falling off your seats with how excited you are, but if you hold on a minute, I want to quickly thank some people who really made this project as good as it is in my opinion. Although I did the vast majority of the work, there are some people who are so kind to help and take time out of their day to actually do some of the work for me and actually reduce the time it took me to make this. First we have 𝐭𝐥𝐬, who pretty much every evening was working really hard to fix some really annoying piston bugs for me. He also did lots of the block scaling in the inventory to make the player heads look like normal blocks rather than player heads in the inventory. This only affects the custom blocks of course. Next we have 𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴, who also helped me with my maze1 command /data pack if you want to check that out. But anyway, back on topic, he was the original beta tester and he also had lots of schoolwork to do, but he also still managed to pull through and find lots of bugs for me. And finally we have 𝐿voxelraptor, you may know him, he's got a pretty big channel of his own. And he helped me fix a major lighting issue, and thanks to him this project was possible because that bug was so big that it wasn't even going to be able to be released at that point. Firefly. So before I go into how the generator actually works and how to use it, first let's quickly go into what it actually does. So on install, if you try to open the block book, you'll initially find that you have absolutely nothing in there. That's where the generator actually comes in. When you finish designing your block in the block generator, you press the create block button, and this shows you a command. If you copy this command and go back to game, just paste it in a command block and then activate that command block. It'll set up your custom block. Once you've set up the custom block, you can just remove the command block which you used to place it down, and then you also get a copy of it in your inventory. But it doesn't just do this, it also permanently stores a copy of it. So that means that when you open your block book, you can see it in there along with other options next to it, such as info, get, and remove. If you press the info button, it'll take you to a little page inside the block book, which displays every single setting which you customize in the block generator. And get, if you haven't guessed already, actually just gives you a copy of the block so you can get it back whenever you like. Remove, surprisingly, removes it from the block book and it's no longer stored. Although note, if you do remove it, you can still actually place and break the block. It just isn't stored there permanently, so you can't get another copy back again. You can run the command generated from the generator in repeating command blocks if you want, as they only run if the block doesn't already exist. So it won't duplicate anything, but it isn't needed. You can have up to 5 blocks per page, and you can have 20 pages at the moment. This means that you can have 100 unique blocks per world. This is likely to increase in the future, as the system could easily have more. I just limited it at 100 for now. So as you can hopefully see now, all the blocks you saw in the introduction you could easily make yourself, and they don't come with this system by default. When you run these commands I made using the generator, you'll be able to see them in the pages, and hopefully it now makes sense how you can navigate and use the blocks. But now I've explained that, let me go on the generator and we can make some blocks right now. Okay guys, so this is the generator on the website. So as you can see, there's 3 different categories. We've got basic settings, we've got real block and drop settings, and we've got traits. So I'll just go through each of these settings and all these different categories one at a time. And obviously we've got the create block button. However, this isn't going to work because something before we start, which is important, is as you can see, a star is required. So you don't actually need to do all these options, but the ones you have to do is you've got to give it a name, you've got to give it a texture, and you've got to do this thing called real block, which I'll explain like I said in a minute. I think the easiest thing to start actually is probably doing the texture. So before we even have a name for the texture, as you can see, there's these tooltips. You can hover over this for an understanding if you don't understand what it is. But as you can see, for texture, it says we need to give it a custom skull give command. So there's 2 different websites I recommend. There's either minecraft-heads.com, and they've got a massive collection of custom heads. There's 20,000 as you can see here. There's also Freshco, which is also quite a good website. There's probably others, but these are like the ones I tend to use. And also, as I said, it does have to be a custom give command, a custom skull. It can't be a player head. But if you do want to use a player head, you can go to this website, which is also in the tooltip, and I'll probably leave it in the description as well, which is also at Minecraft Heads. And what you can do is you can put in a player name. So I'll just put my IGN blue PvPs and create give code. And then what's going to do is actually going to give me a custom player head based on my IGN. So then that I can use inside of the generator. So if you want to use IGNs, you've got to use this way. So as you can see, I can just copy this command then. I'll also go through custom skulls afterwards. It's just the same process, but there you go for IGN. I can go back to the website and I can paste that in. If it's valid, it's going to show my head here. If it's not valid, and say I just had like random things in, it's going to have a question mark there and it's going to tell me it's invalid. So I know this one's worked, which is good. I'll just paste this back in. And I want to give it a name. So I'm just going to call this the blue PvPs block. Why not? Okay, so the next option is directional. So directional basically means, for example, if I go back into game, an example of a non-directional block would be like a diamond door, for example. And an example of a directional one would be like logs. Depending on if I'm facing northeast, southwest, no matter what, that's not affecting how the block looks. Whereas with logs, as you can see, depending on how I place it, it's going to place in different ways, isn't it? So that's basically what this is talking about. I do because I want the actual face of my skin to face me, depending on where I look. So I'm going to choose that. So this is required, but by default it already has a value. So I'm just going to create a give command without editing everything else, so we can just see what we've got so far. So if I go into game and I now place this down and I go paste, always active, done. As you can see, successfully initialized block, PvP's block. So I also got this in my inventory, so if I place this down, it's now a fully block sized recreation, I guess, which is really cool. The hat layer also works. And because we specified directional, if I place this way, it's also going to work if I face this way, as you can see. So it's really cool. So now if we move on to the real block options. So I'll quickly read the description I've put here for it. So a real block is a term that I made up. It is a block in the vanilla game that resembles your new block the most. For example, if my custom block was an ore, I might choose a diamond ore for my real block. Don't worry, this only affects some things. So the things that it does affect are the time it takes to mine the block, the tools that speed up the mining process, the particles that given off when you mine it and also when you like walk over it and stuff, and also any passive traits. So that's the third category, but I'll go over them in a minute, so just ignore this bit for now. So this doesn't affect the drops, it doesn't affect whether the tool is required for the drop, it doesn't affect what level of tools needed to mine it, it doesn't affect the XP drops, etc. So basically, a better way of thinking of this is, imagine the block is actually underneath this, so for real it is underneath, that's because it is, that's how the system works, but you don't need to worry about that. So just imagine the block is underneath, so like I say, it doesn't affect everything, it doesn't affect the tools required for drops, the XP, all of that stuff, what the drop is, it just affects how fast it's dropped, depending on the tools, etc., like I specified a second ago. So for example, here we've got a whole list of blocks. They're all only 3D blocks, you can't use any like flowers or anything like that, otherwise it just wouldn't work, so you'd be able to walk through the block. So it's all proper blocks. The only exception to that's a hopper, just because I thought it'd be quite a cool addition. But anyway, you've also got this filter, so I can go through it. So say there's a specific one I had in mind. For example, I don't know. Let's say wool. It can, sort through it. If I just do woo, see, like all the options will show. So some important things to note for this is if it's a type of wood, not all types of wood are there. So I wouldn't have to put oak planks. I just have to put planks. And same with like logs, so they all kind of like simplify. Same with colours, so instead of having all the different types of wool, it's just one type of wool, it's called wool. So I'm just going to stick with wool for this of my head. And real block MBT, so as I said, it is actually underneath it, so if you want to give it special MBT, for example, say it was a container, this is leading on to what the traits are, but you can give it custom MBT, so if it was a container, like a barrel for example, then it would actually have a container. So you might want to have it have blocks inside it from the start, and that way I'd put my brackets and write all the stuff in there. So most people don't really need to mess with this. I doubt many people do at all, but I thought I'd just give the feature here so everyone could use it if they wanted to. So next we have drop itself. So by default it's going to automatically drop itself. However, if I uncheck this, I can choose what item it is. So say I want this to drop Minecraft colon, make sure you put Minecraft colon and then your normal block. So Minecraft colon, let's say a diamond, why not? And then you can give it a count. So this is also required. If you have this unchecked, these two are also required fields. So let's say it drops 3 diamonds, and also you can give it MBT. So for example, Unbreaking 1B. But I don't want any MBT for this either. So next we have, is a tool required to get the drop? So if you check this, you can choose what tool between a pickaxe, an axe, a shovel and shears. And you can also choose what level of tool. So any tool, stone plus, iron plus, and also silk touch. So I'm just going to do, for example, an iron plus shovel, why not? And then finally, XP dropped. If you have this unchecked, it'll be 0 by default. You can also put 0 in here if you like, or you could choose a value, for example, let's say 15. The XP is only dropped. If you have a specific tool required to get the drop, the XP is also only dropped if the actual item's dropped. So in this case, you'd also need a iron plus shovel to get the XP. So let's leave traits for now again. So if I just create this block again, I'm going to have to remove my current block and replace it in. And now it's going to be updated with all new stuff. So if I walk over it, you might be able to see some wool. Okay, you can't, but I'm just going to grab a stack of this. I'm also going to grab some iron shovels and a normal shovel. So if I go into survival, as you can see, if I try to break this normally, it didn't do anything. You didn't get the drop because I specified an iron plus shovel. So a wooden's also obviously not going to work. And if I do an iron though, I got our 3 diamonds, which is pretty cool. So I also got XP, I don't know if you saw that, I'll quickly redo it. So as you can see, keep an eye on what I've got at the moment. And now, as you can see, I'm already past halfway through 14. Oh, and there's my second drop. So yeah, it's pretty fun to play around with, but what makes this really shine, this system, is the traits. So what it says here is, these are special uses. All traits your block have are inherited from the real block. So if you want an inventory, for example, choose a barrel. Here's a list of example traits that you might want to consider. So if you want it to be explosive, you can make this a TNT, and then when you give it power, it's obviously going to explode. You also support power, so you could make it a redstone block and then it's going to emit power. You could make it a slime block and then it'll have bounces, you know, when people jump on it, and it'll also be instant breaks. You can also have it spawn things, so you can make it a spawner underneath, and then you give it the custom real block MBT to specify what mob it spawns. You can make it play music with a jukebox or a note block. You can make it unbreakable with bedrock or barriers. So there's quite a massive list of stuff you can do here. You can make it run a custom command by setting it to a command block. You can make it emit light like my lanterns did in the intro, like see right there, that one up there. You can make a container, so a barrel or a hopper. So in one of my previous videos I made a crates in crates data pack, and it's literally with like one command block, and it literally took me about 5 minutes to make. I managed to recreate them looking much nicer, and it's a lot easier to use. I can just open it up. So you can do that by specifying a barrel. You can't choose a chest in this option because it's not fully 3D, and it also has opening animations and stuff, but a barrel is just much nicer of an option. You can make it, you'd be able to craft with it, making it a crafting table or a furnace. You can make it have gravity, so as you saw with our fake portal at the beginning where I had my piston door, thanks to 𝐭𝐤𝐴 being able to fix the piston bugs, I managed to make this a 3x3 falling sand door by making it have a sand reel block. So it's a really powerful tool, this. So that's all the features the generator has for now. I'm going to be adding more features in the future if you will like it. Also, something to note, I think there's a bug in Minecraft right now where sometimes it kills entities, and this uses entities to store. So this only applies to the save, so sometimes, this only happens really rarely, but I just wanted to point this out so people could be aware of it. Sometimes on relog I find that all my blocks have disappeared from here because it's killed the entities which make it saved. That happens, like I said, it's really rare, so you don't have to worry about it. But what I would recommend is every time you create a new command for this, I put it into like a notepad. Okay, so let's make one more block using the new traits and the new custom blocks instead of using an IGN. So I'm going to quickly go back, and this time I'm going to go to Minecraft Heads' custom heads collection. Now you could use any of these like phases and stuff, but I think where would this make the most sense if I go to the blocks category, and once that's loaded I should be able to choose from a list of blocks, so it'll actually look like, you know, something which would make sense. Okay, so it's loaded now. So now if I scroll through, I'm just going to choose a random one. So I might choose this glowing obsidian, why not? And then I select the custom give code, as you can see here, Minecraft 1.13 give code. So if I just click on that and then press Ctrl+C, or this copy button over here, if I go back into the generator then, and then I put that into there, as you can see the text just worked. I'm just going to call it glowing obsidian. So then I'm also, what trait should I go for? I'll make it have gravity, so I'm going to make it a sand. I could have made it a gravel or a concrete instead, but I'm just going to make it a sand. And then I'm not going to change anything else, so I'm just going to create. And then once we've done this I can show you the custom block packs. Always active, done. As you can see, successfully initialized block glowing obsidian. So if I place this down, as you can see, it's now the texture I chose. So if I build up a little bit here and I place it, it's also kind of full. I can also build like a stack of these. And I can like break the bottom all fall down, etc. So you get the idea. So now let me show you the block packs.
Could you find a way to let me down slowly? A little sympathy, I hope you can show me.
Custom block packs are lots of these generated commands created by someone and then compressed into a one command format and then shared around. They'll follow a certain theme, and there's also a list of them on my website. At the moment there's only two, one made by me for an example, and one made by DasJaffs. He's a member of my Discord server. By the way, join my Discord server if you want early access to some of the things I'm working on. But anyway, there isn't really much to talk about with these except keep an eye on that part of the website to see more show up. If you created your own, give me a message on Discord or leave a comment and I may feature it.
I'm just having fun. We'll hang out tonight and tomorrow we'll be done.
If you find any bugs, you can submit them using the link in this part of the page, or check the video description. On that page, there's a form for you to fill out. There are a few limitations with this system, such as the resolution of the block textures because of how the system works. And also, as they replace nothing, the blocks won't display in the creative inventory, but I don't think that's such an issue because overall the system's still really useful. I also have the block book to navigate through the blocks, so it doesn't really need to be in the creative inventory anyway. But anyway, my point is, please don't report these as bugs because they're just limitations and I can't really do much about them.
All of these messages wishing I was alone. I don't think you can.
For this section, there isn't really anything to explain, but if you make a video showcasing this, be sure to let me know and I'll feature it here.
Do it no more. Further and deep with a girl, and it's taking its toll.
Lastly, you can also integrate your own data packs with this system using the instructions on the website. And we're done! I don't like begging for likes in my videos, but if you're ever going to like a Blue Commander video, let's make this the one. I spent the whole of January focusing on this and I'm really glad at how it turned out. Also, if you're new, why not check out some of my other videos? I make command related videos every week or two, usually. Also, maybe you could even be kind enough to subscribe. Anyway, thanks for spending some of your time here with me today, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!